Thank you. Mr. Raskin is my friend, and we have spirited debates and discussion, and I think it's productive. And since we've now opened this Pandora's box, I won't use the committee's time all afternoon to have this debate. But although I'd love to have it with you, my friend, about the root causes of all this, because I do think that as a Congress we need to address that to the extent that we can, and we're not, because we're hacking at branches instead of the root of the problem. What I meant first by your time you've invested is, look, it's been, what, 17 months, you know, the January 6th committee, I don't know how many months, I think it's been about a year that you all have invested thousands of hours, apparently millions upon millions of taxpayer dollars, interviewed hundreds of witnesses, compiled 100,000 pages of documents. You hired lawyers, consultants, and big network TV producers, and all for what? I mean, what everybody's watching is a rehash and a replay of a moment-by-moment dissection of a terrible event that took place a year and a half ago. You know, I guess you all expected that. No, hold on. Well, let me finish. I guess you thought that the American people would be riveted by the production, but the American people have lived through this. They moved on. You know what they care about right now, my friend? They care about the cost of their groceries, the cost of their gasoline. They care about soaring prices, unhinged crime in our cities. They care about uninhibited illegal immigration that is destroying the very fabric of the nation. Now, you want to talk about moral decay? Yeah, that's a really, really important. I think it's a foundational issue for us. We know that politics is downstream from culture. Culture is downstream from the moral underpinnings of the nation. And when the founders of this country put this republic together, by the way, we're still an experiment on the world stage. We don't know how long a constitutional republic is going to last. What, July 4th, we turn, what, 246 years old as a nation, I guess? I mean, this is not a long span of time on the span of human history. But the founders were very clear about one thing, and I think we all ought to take a sober look at this. I think we ought to go review, you know, Washington's farewell address, the first president, because he gave a lot of admonitions to us on how we would keep a republic, but he said, of all the dispositions and habits which lead to political prosperity, religion and morality are the indispensable supports. And John Adams came next, our second president. He said, our Constitution is made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. Why did they say that? They didn't say we all had to be Catholics or Baptists or, you know, any particular religion. But they said you had to have religion because religion and morality are the seedbed of virtue, and you must have virtue to maintain a government of, by, and for the people. See, we set up a nation, one nation under God. We removed the king, the lowercase king, the earthly king as the sovereign, and we said, no, God himself is the sovereign, and we're going to govern ourselves. Lincoln said that in his famous address at Gettysburg. He said this proposition that we are one nation under God, it's articulated in the Declaration of Independence, right in the second paragraph. That's the revolutionary principle that founded the country. We're losing it because we are turning our eye away. Our disbelief in God has become a foundational problem, and what results of that is a lack of a basic moral principle. We're not saying we have to establish a religion. We're saying you must have common virtue among the people or you will lose it. You can't hire enough police if you don't have moral virtue in the people. No, you got me started. Let me finish, okay?
Well,
that is a root problem, my friend.
Public officials lying.
It's Ms. Fishback's time. I'm just saying, my friend,
okay, well,
we can have this debate. Wait, let me finish. We can have this debate. We can have this debate, and it is an important one. But my point here today is that this bill is not getting us to that. What we're trying to do right here is federalize an issue that the states are already handling. Why is it that infinite bureaucrats in Washington insert themselves in this issue? If best practices studies exist, as Ms. Cicilline said a few moments ago, are local law enforcement and state agencies not competent enough to gather those up? Do they need Washington bureaucrats to direct them to all this, to gather it for them and package it at the expense of U.S. taxpayers and send it to them? They don't need that. They don't need that. Why are we trying to federalize everything? The government is too big. It's doing too many things, and what it doesn't do well. We need to restore the power to the people. We need to get back to the moral foundations of the country, the basics, the principles that are going to hold this republic together. If we're going to keep the republic, we have to remember the foundations, the things that made America great in the first place. That's what we're losing. That is the root cause. And we're twisting at windmills up here with all these little, you know, policy and principle and political skirmishes and not addressing the real issues. That's what we're talking about, Jamie. When somebody goes in and shoots people, it is evil. We ought to call it evil. We ought to pray for the victims and pray for our country and rely upon God who gave us all this through his blessing. I yield back.